Wait. Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Now I'm here to answer any questions you children may have about the monorail.
Me! Can it outrun the Flash?
You bet.
Can Superman outrun the Flash?
Sure, why not?
Using his vast knowledge of history and politics, we start our day off right with motivational speaker Richard Battle.
Love having him on. Mr. Battle, how you doing today, my friend?
Good morning, Al. We're so glad to be with you after the challenge to answer the bell this morning.
Yeah. No one hates technology more than me. The fact you write history books, I think you would agree. Could we at least agree at our age we don't need to figure anything else out? We can just kind of catch up to what's here. No more stuff. You want to go to Mars, go without me. I don't care. Is that okay? Can we just stop? Technology's a pain.
Well,
a couple of things. You're a historian and author, all this stuff. We hear about you. Love that. But you're also a Texan. And 2 days ago, I had some great barbecue over the weekend, and I brought up to on the show, and people are sending me all these favorite barbecue places. You a barbecue guy? You're from Texas. You must be.
Well, as I mentioned on the run-up here, it depends on the definition of barbecue, because the people in the North, barbecue is what we call grilling, where you grill a steak or a hamburger or chicken breast or something. Barbecue to us has to be cooked for 12 hours or so to be a real barbecue.
I ate some down in Austin, Texas, and I would agree with you. It is a love affair with a grill. These grilling places.
Grill, it's a smoker.
Smoker. Yeah. Okay. So I bought myself a Traeger, right? This is a smoking grill, pellet grill, and I love it. But I'm old school, like you're saying. If I'm going to do it, and my wife doesn't understand why I'm not out there every day. Well, let's put some more meat on, because I just want to go out there and do a hamburger and light her up and get her going for 20 minutes. That's not my gig. But if you're going to give me a pork butt, I'll head out there, get a cigar and a cocktail, and I'll spend the afternoon watching TV and watching this thing go. I love it. But it gets me thinking about these barbecue places that we've been. The amount of hours is one thing. If you did, I do it every once in a while. I enjoy it as my day. These guys are on it. Like you say, for 12 hours. That guy's starting at 4 in the morning to make sure it's ready by 4 in the afternoon every flipping day. These barbecue guys got something going on, is all I'm saying. Do you have a favorite place?
Well, yes, and they're usually cooking overnight, so so it's ready in the morning. But yes, in the Austin, Texas vicinity where I live, there are several places I like quite a bit. There's plenty of newer places that have gained more fame. Some places that people will stand in lines for hours to have their food, which I will not do that.
All right, and we're big pork people up here. I get that. It's different. You guys are probably all beef down there in Texas, right?
Well, I like the beef, but I like the pork. I like ham, turkey, chicken, sausage.
And are you a wet sauce guy or a dry rub guy?
Well, you dry rub it when you cook it.
No.
But then you have sauce available sometimes to enhance it if you like.
Just a quick side note before we get to your stuff, by the way. Thanks for this time. Grandpa's Barbecue, fabulous sponsor here. I asked my local Super Value Jubas if they would stock it, and they have, and it showed up at the shelves this week. Go get it, folks. Grandpa's Barbecue Sauce. You got to find it. It's kind of like right in the middle of the section.
I appreciate Grandpa's sponsoring the show, Al, and the only thing I'd like to suggest to them is that barbecue season's every season. It's not limited to any time of the year.
See, but this is where you make fun of us in Minnesota. You 12 hours to barbecue. There are times in the season that is the entire day here when sun is up. You got nothing else. You got to be up at the crack of dawn before its end. It's terrible that way. You can't barbecue all the time up here. Hey, how are you doing? We got a big week ahead. I mean, just with anniversaries of big things in American history, right?
Yes, we do. And I think it's time to pause and reflect and have gratitude. We had that the other day for Memorial Day, but a couple of specific events that people we honor during Memorial Day, I think we need to remember because of how they changed the world and what the world would be like without them. And thankfully, we were on the winning side of both of those. And thousands of men gave their lives to help in those pivotal moments. And both of them occurred this week, but 2 years apart.
Well, and back to the people that gave sacrifices, it was different even back then with what regular Americans gave up, right? I mean, they were saving pantyhose. The ladies were building the bullets. This was an all-in event, saving scrap iron for the war effort. They did all of that stuff. We look now and we complain about how much money we sent overseas to something, right? I mean,
yes,
we're not even close to in this game.
We're talking World War II, and that was the last mortal threat to the country, in my opinion. So everybody came together because they realized if we lost, we'd be speaking German or Japanese or both instead of English. And so there was a lot to lose for everyone, but kids collected tin foil, all kinds of things, rubber. I had a teacher in high school that their family got a car in 1946, the first year they were made after the war, and it was delivered with a wooden bumper because there still wasn't enough steel for the bumpers yet.
Yeah.
And they had to get the bumper later. And so it was a total all-in affair. Thankfully, we've not had that since then. I guess the Cuban Missile Crisis could have erupted into that, but we've not had that, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, this is a point, put your money where your mouth is even. We sold war bonds. You bought bonds, dividends, say, here's my money, just go take care of this war. It was, like you say, an existential threat. Everybody was in. Well, there wasn't a team. There wasn't left and right? I mean, it wasn't the rule they couldn't talk. You couldn't go across the seas and say anything bad about America, right? I mean, as a politician.
Well, think about the war bonds. Why did they sell war bonds and ask people in the public to buy them? Every movie made in that era, at the end of the movie, it says buy war bonds. Well, the country almost went broke financing the war. Well, why did it almost go broke? Because we had a monetary system then that was based on the gold standard.
Yes.
Now we have fiat money. We want more money. We just go print it and hope somebody buys our debt. Well, then if you ran out of money, you couldn't buy things. And so there was a real risk at that time and a real necessity to manage resources.
Well, I'm just saying that was down to people were literally putting their money on the table. Let's do this. This is what I've got and all I could give. It was an all-in effort, which was just amazing. Couple of the big notes. Let's go to break early. There's a couple of big one-offs, if you will, that we want to talk about, and we'll do that right after this. I've got them. Richard Battle on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
He's our favorite author and historian, Richard Battle. He wrote the book AmeriCANS, Who Made America, 18th Century Birth of the Republic. Get a copy. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in World War II. The Battle of Midway, other than the movie, I think 90% of Americans probably wouldn't have a clue about Battle of Midway.
Well, I think that's correct. And the biggest two things out of that, besides the thousands of men who sacrificed themselves, and here we were still reeling from Pearl Harbor at the time, and the Japanese were trying to advance in the Pacific and take Midway Island. And so we sent this fleet out. It was a total naval battle. Air to air, it was one of the first times that the ships never saw each other. So it was totally fought in the air, and it changed warfare from being more battleship to battleship related to air. And our air superiority is not only what won then, but what has protected us since then. And it was the last Japanese offensive action and the beginning of us turning around and being offensive. Although it took us 3+ more years to win that war, it lifted the spirit of the American people, and it was just such a huge event in their lives at that time.
With it being a little over 80 years ago, is that an excuse that we don't spend more time discussing that in school these days? You know, why, like say, the Battle of Midway, if it wasn't for the movie, most folks wouldn't know it. Shouldn't we do more of that?
Well, I think we need to remember the people and the sacrifice in the event, but I also think we need to remember the things we did then and since then for our national security that have protected us. And that's the recognition that air power was it. And so if we were not superior in the air, then others could dictate to us our lives. But if we were superior, then we would have the freedoms that our founders gave us. We have the same issue right now with space. Whoever controls and dominates space will have national security, and it is imperative that we have space dominance to protect ourselves. The other issue that came up last week is with the drone issue in the Ukraine and Russia. We've got to be on top of that and be superior, or else others will dictate to us our lives.
I love it. Okay. Battle of Midway started this day in history, 1942. The other one was D-Day, right?
Well, D-Day comes up June 6th, and while D-Day is the one day celebrated, whereas Midway was 4 days, that invasion, we lost so many people that day, turned the tide in Europe. It was long awaited for 2 or 3 years. People don't recognize that the Germans were working on nuclear weapons. They had jet aircraft in late 1944. They had all this technology that if they could have hung on just a little longer, it would have been impossible to beat them. But we were aggressive enough with our allies that we were able to overcome their defenses and win that day.
The History Channel has a couple of series about D-Day that are just phenomenal to watch, and the different beaches and the rest, and they bust it down. I just watched that weekend before last. Fantastic. Fantastic. So we got to remember this.
One of the great things that is often overlooked was the difference of the German people and the American people. And the German people had a top-down leadership, and you didn't do anything unless the proper person up the chain of command okayed it. And so that resulted in them losing because Hitler was sleeping and they couldn't call in reinforcements because nobody had the initiative to do it. The Americans saved the day in the Normandy campaign because a technical sergeant put a plow on the front of a tank so they could get through the hedgerows over there and cut down how many Americans were killed in that campaign.
It's a big difference in just the way we run our armies even today. Yeah, if you're going to go against the Germans, shoot the highest ranking officer you can because everybody underneath them stops. In American armies, everybody moves up one. Let's just keep them rolling. It is a big difference in how they do it. Even the media were assets back then, were they not?
Well, yes, that's what's amazing. They not only covered up Franklin Roosevelt's physical incapacities. They wanted America to win. And since the first Gulf War, we've had a media that act like global citizens, and they want to stay out of it, and they don't take sides one way or the other. When we have a mortal threat, they better choose.
Better decide which side you're getting on. All right, I love having you on. Let's remember both those days. The Battle Midway started today. We lasted 4 days. Of course, D-Day lasted a long time. It starts on the 6th, or the anniversary of it. You can find a lot of the great stuff Richard writes about AmeriCANS, Who Made America, 18th Century Birth of the Republic. This is a fantastic book. How does someone go out getting it? I would tell people that if you're into history, your family's into history, you want your kids or grandkids to understand real American history. These are easy to read, fantastic. What do you biographies? What do you call it? I mean, it's 40
call it a
snippets.
Profile, or you could call it a scouting report, if you will, on a person. It's not a detailed, but it gives you a thumbnail of their American spirit and what they achieved with that.
I love that. It's it's almost like when you got to go to a baseball game, you got to get a program, but you won't know the players. These are the players in American history, and these, like you say, are AmeriCANS. You're going to love it. They'll be great for your children, your grandchildren, but how do I get it? That's the big question.
All 11 books are on Amazon, including a Kindle and audio version of this. If you'd like a signed copy, go to richardbattle.com. If you'd like it inscribed, great graduation, birthday, Father's Day gifts, email me, richard@richardbattle.com, after you order, and tell me who you'd like it inscribed to. We're happy to do that.
And you really should take a look, richardbattle.com, and take a look at all the books, because it's been quite eclectic. I mean, you have some obviously very good business books, how to do better in business, that sort of thing. Some pretty personal stuff with some big, huge life things in your life, like the Unopened Present, and then these history books that are coming out. It's quite eclectic, so there's a lot you can do there. I would mention that evidently somebody saw the secret sauce in AmeriCANS, Who Made America Great, right? The 18th century. This is going to be a set when it's done, right? I mean, you've obviously got the secret sauce here. People love this book. You're going to do it again, right?
Well, the 19th century we will be talking about next week, because Tuesday next week it births, if you will, and publishes. And
so back to the 19th
2 more after that.
Well, good for you. But I do believe there's some secret sauce here. This stuff works. It's very entertaining. It's fantastic for you to have on your shelf. Again, for your kids or your grandkids, go to richardbattle.com. You can order them all there. Put your name down. I tell you, I love it when you do that. Put your inscription in it. You sign the book. It means you're never going to throw it away. Your kids are going to have a keepsake. You can do all that, or go to Amazon, buy what's the talking
Kindle
thing again?
Audio.
Kindle, audio. Thank you. Couldn't remember.
If you're a teacher or a leader and want to inspire people with stories and quotes, this is a great resource.
You know, that is absolutely a great idea. If you are a teacher and you have a small library, something the kids could look at, and this would be fantastic for them. We should get this in every school in America, my friend.
I'm all for that.
Yeah. That is a great idea.
And I'll grab the books.
All right. It sounds like it's a small flag. Package. All right. Let's get it into every school. I love these books. They should be in every school. Mr. Battle, I love having your show. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. God bless America.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria.